Welcome to the Cincy Sports Pod with my host, Jack Snyder. We'll be discussing the Reds' first four games of the season, as well as the outlook for this series, and then a little bit about the March Madness Final Four. Um, let's get into it. The Reds currently stand at 2-2 after a complete bludgeoning of the Rangers last night, 14-3. Um, really good outlook from the two young stars, Ali De La Cruz and Matt McLean, combined for 10 RBIs. Or Ellie a triple shorts shy of the cycle. Matt McLean, I believe, had a home run and a couple hits. So it was a really nice showing, especially from the pitcher Brady Singer, who went seven scoreless with eight strikeouts, two walks, and I can't remember what the other stat was, but um, he looked really, really polished in that game and was able to put away batters with ease yesterday.
Yeah, I think that was obviously the best game we've seen the Reds play all year. Granted, it was only the fourth game of the season, but nice to get back level at 500 after what was I considered a disappointing 1-2 showing against the Giants in that opening series, but bouncing back against a Rangers team that had some success in their first series of the season. Obviously, the man on the screen, Ellie, hit those two home runs, 418 and 436, I believe, are the distances on that. Obviously, a single and a double as well, plus first on base of the year for the kid. So, off to a hot start. He looked really, really sharp yesterday. Obviously, a bit controversial though with the use of the torpedo bat. We can get into that if you want, Tim, but it seemed to work for him. And obviously, I think this is the Ellie that we've been waiting to see and jumping out and helping with a 14-3 win was pretty big for this team going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think the torpedo bat really has nothing to do with his success. I think it's just his skill as a player. Um, let's be real. Jose Trevino has been using that bat for years, and that's no knock to him. He's not that great of an offensive player. And I mean, LA's crushing balls. I mean, it's crazy. On his one of his home runs, 436-foot two-run homer yesterday. The exit velo was about 110 miles per hour. So the guy's crushing the ball, seeing the ball really well, and that's what you like to see. Everyone was hitting the ball very effectively. The batting averages look really good early on in the season. Granted, we're only four games in, but it's been cool to see what the pitching staff has been able to do outside that first game when the Ian Jabot came in a high leverage spot in the ninth inning and gave up four runs. But other than that, bullpens look pretty good. So there's definitely some bright spots to these first four games though.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with everything you said there. Obviously, seeing a Singer come in and pitch yesterday, seven scoreless, like you mentioned before, that was a really good sign. Eight strikeouts. Him and Hunter Green, I think, both respectively, had very good starts to the season, and those appear to be the top two guys so far in the rotation.
Agreed. I don't think nowadays with the pitching rotation, it's not always your best two guys that are the first two in the rotation. It also has to complement the other pitchers in the certain days that gives other teams different looks when it comes to like righty lefty scenario. So I think that was probably the approach Terry Francona took when it came to having Brady Singer fourth, because he's clearly not the fourth best pitcher in our rotation, as we saw yesterday. And his time with the Kansas City Royals was pretty much a stud. It's kind of crazy to see what the NL Central is looking real like right now. Pretty lackluster. It's been interesting to see how hot of a start the St. Louis Cardinals have gotten off to. But
Hmm.
other than that, let me check real quick. The Reds
Yeah,
are 2-2. The Cardinals are 3-1. The Cubs are 3-4. The Pirates are 1-4, and the Brewers got swept by the Yankees. I think the Yankees put up a total of 47 runs in that four-game series, so
crazy.
averaged about 11.75 runs per game against the
Yeah,
Brewers. So
yeah,
that's a good sign if the Brewers pitching is not going to be too good this year.
yeah. And the Brewers just lost 11-1 last night as well. So to the Royals. So that's
Got it.
definitely something to keep an eye on. But obviously, I don't think we want to overreact too much here this early in the season.
Agreed. A lot of teams tend to get off to slow starts, some get off to fast starts. In prior years, we've seen the Pittsburgh Pirates get off to these scorching hot starts and then they'll fizzle out toward the end of the season. I have a funny feeling that's kind of what's going on with the Cardinals right now. Um, but you never know. They played a decent Twins team, um, riding a 3-1 record. And then obviously the Reds have the chance. They took the series opener yesterday against the Rangers, 14-3. And I believe Carson Spires is on the mound for the Reds today. It's 6:40 pitch. Should be interesting to see what happens in that one.
Yeah, obviously, having YouTube TV, I don't get to watch the Reds games, but I do like to listen on the radio. Good, always a good listen on Reds radio. I enjoyed listening to the game last night. Do have my Jizzle James jersey on for a Crown basketball today, but once that game is over, I will be tossing on the Ellie jersey to support the Reds, as I will try to be wearing it most games of the season.
For sure, for sure, for sure. Um, I like to see how CES has been playing. I feel like that's going to be a difference in this Red season if he's able to contribute the way he has been early on in the season. And if he can keep that up, I think that's the difference between the Reds being, a wild card or not, or even a division winner or not. This team certainly has the potential to go on to win a division. A lot of youth, but I believe with a Hall of Fame manager, you can get the job done. So
And yeah, I agree. CS hit that home run in that Giants series. That was a big one. I do uh he's not playing today. He's not in the lineup. Obviously, he got hit by a pitch in that wrist where I believe he had his wrist surgery last season. Not in the lineup today. I think that's good. A good choice by Tito. Just a bit precautionary. Obviously playing well, but you don't want to throw him out there when he's not 100% to play and risk something else happening, and then losing him for the season would be terrible. So him not playing today, I think is a good sign, but I wouldn't read too much into it. I think it's more just like a rest day, get healthy. No need to force anything.
I don't really watch a whole lot outside of the Reds, but I'm just happy baseball's back in general. It really uh you know, complements to the time we're in because basketball will be ending soon, and then we'll obviously get the NBA playoffs, which not a whole lot of people watch anymore, but uh I like to tune in, to the, Eastern Conference Finals, NBA Finals, Western Conference Finals. But baseball being back, there's just something in the air, and I'm excited to see what the Reds can do. I think we can switch over to the March Madness Final Four. First time since 2008 that all four one seeds have made the Final Four. Back in 2008, I believe that was Kansas, North Carolina, Memphis, and UCLA. This time around, we've got Florida, Houston, Duke, and Auburn.
Auburn, yeah.
So I mean, it's crazy how big of a gap there's been this year between the one seeds in the field. Um, just seeing Houston dismantle a really good defensive Tennessee team was honestly shocking to me yesterday. And then also seeing Duke doing what they did, as well as Auburn taking care of business against Michigan State. It's I don't really see what a whole lot of people are complaining for. I mean, we're about to see the four best teams in college basketball square off and to determine who goes to the national championship. A lot of people are saying like they want to see the Cinderella, but 90, I believe top four seeds in the top four, like and under seeds in the tournament, are 92% of all championship winners. So when in reality, one seeds and two seeds are the type teams that are going to go on to win the national championship.
Yeah, I mean that's 100% true there. Obviously, these four one seeds, like historically, are a lot better than everyone else. I think when it comes to like net rating and overall rating and stuff like that, these four are like some of the top 10 teams since you could actually look at that net rating and stuff like that, which is just ridiculous. And obviously, we knew the SEC was good, Auburn and Florida. We knew Houston, they ran through the Big 12. But ACC, the kind of that third power conference, significantly lower, excuse me, the fourth power conference outside of Big 12, Big 10, the SEC, kind of like a lower level. People weren't sure what Duke would be when they faced these bigger teams. And they faced two seed Alabama, who in the Sweet 16 game put up 113 points against a BYU team that if you go over to barttorvik.com, you can sort data. They were playing like a top five team over the past 6 weeks. Alabama puts up 113 on them, goes 25 and 51 from 3 point range, scores 113 points. 2 days later, Duke holds them to 65. I mean, that is ridiculous. The second one, I want to say third best team in the SEC. I think it's clear Duke could have competed in any conference in the country, SEC, Big Ten, whatever you want to say. But just really impressive stuff. And I'm with you, Tim. Do I like the Cinderellas? Yeah. 12 seed to the Sweet 16 now and then. I think that's good. But the best teams playing for the national championship, ultimately what you want. That's what we're going to get. So I don't buy this complaining stuff. Duke, Houston, Florida, Auburn. They're going to be two great games, and I'm really excited for it.
I think there's a lot to make of this Final Four. I mean, just looking at the coaching pedigree of these teams, you've got Bruce Pearl succeeded everywhere he's gone. Todd Golden, who was a manager under Bruce Pearl back in 2014, now playing against him in the Final Four. That's a pretty cool storyline right there. And then you've got John Shire, who's an absolute stud player at Duke and maybe even a better coach. Yeah, I saw John Fanta out there on Breakfast Ball on FS1 saying that he might be the next uh, Coach K. Like that might be a very bold. I think that's a very bold take, but
It's a
the
bit
guy
aggressive at this
is
point.
isn't he like 37 years old? Maybe
He,
younger?
he's I think he graduated from Duke in 2010,
Yeah, he's
so
probably even younger than that. Yeah.
35-ish maybe, so right around that age, yeah.
And then obviously Calvin Sampson, who I believe is the best coach in the tournament. Uh left in the tournament.
I
I
agree.
mean, I mean, were we even talking about Houston basketball 12 to 15 years ago?
Oh, yeah, no, Houston basketball was in the dumpster fire. I mean, if you Google images, Houston Arena, back from like 2016, those times, there weren't even fans in the stands. Just crazy. He just turned that program around. He did an awesome job. And the continued success year over year from the American to the Big 12 has just been fantastic. And like you said, the best coach in the country. That inbounds play he drew up to beat Purdue with the final seconds there to get to the Elite Eight game, that was fantastic. And I do agree. Kelvin Sampson, in my opinion, is the best coach left in the Final Four, and they are my pick to win it all.
I saw MSU get my pick dismantled by Auburn the other day. They just kept on trading buckets all game long. I kind of wanted to see Tom Izzo in the Final Four, but clearly Auburn was the better team.
Mhm.
I honestly believe we will get a. I think we're going to get a Duke Auburn championship, but I think the second most likely is definitely. I think that Duke Houston game is going to be absolute cinema.
I
I
agree.
think that's going to go down to the final minutes of the game, and it's going to be determined by a bucket or two. Um, it's going to be very interesting to see what the two SEC teams, Auburn and Florida, do in that Final Four as well. Both have great players, obviously. Janai Broom, second in uh, National Player of the Year voting, I'm sure, behind Cooper Flag. And then you've got obviously three 7-footers for Florida. Um, and then Duke, obviously, you've got Cooper Flag, Con Knuppel, that Malawatch kid who's really come on this tournament. And then over on the Houston side, I think you can probably uh, explain that a little bit better than me because you've seen them play all year. They've got great guards.
Yeah, LJ Cryer and Miles Uzan, the two front runners there. Obviously, Cryer actually won a national championship at Baylor before he transferred over a season ago. Uzan from Oklahoma has been really good. He's actually been a lot better shooting wise, improvement. Um, and obviously their bigs, JoJo Tugler, Javier Francis, and Juwan Roberts, the definition of physicality and rebounding. And that's what Kelvin Sampson coaches. And I do want to clarify something. I said Houston is my pick to win the national championship. They were my preseason, not my preseason pick, but my pre-tournament pick in my bracket and get to the Final Four, win it all. But if you had to tell me, I gotta put like all my money on the one team right now to win it all, I it would be tough not to pick Duke. I think they're clearly playing the best right now. But I'm gonna ride it out with Houston, hopefully. Um, and that Auburn Florida game will be interesting because Florida did beat Auburn when Auburn was undefeated in the SEC back in Auburn, actually. And then Florida's obviously risen to where they are now. But I think either way it should be really good. But I do like Houston. But that Houston Duke game, in my opinion, I think decides the national champion.
I would agree. I feel like that's probably the national championship before the national championship. Um, no slight to either of the teams on the other side of
No.
the bracket. They're both amazing. I heard this story, and I believe it's true about Walter Clayton Jr. He was a 4-star quarterback out of high school, and he had 0 stars in basketball. Decided to go to Iona um, under Rick Pitino at the time,
Hmm.
and obviously shows out and is able to, you know, transfer over to Florida. And he is one of the best guards in the country now. It's really a testament to what belief in yourself can do. Uh,
Absolutely.
because I mean, I'm sure everyone around him, I mean, including probably his parents, were like, "You're a 4-star football player, and you're gonna go and pursue basketball. But if that's you know what he loves to do over football, I mean, testament to hard work and what you can do
Hmm.
with that." So
Yeah, it's working out for him so far, clearly.
yeah,
First team All-American this season.
for sure, for sure. I've really loved the the booths in the Final Four, specifically that Iron Eagle, Grant Hill, Bill Raftery booth. I don't know which one they will be calling. I believe both games will probably be on CBS, correct?
I think they should call both games, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I can look it up real fast.
Yeah, I think you've got to have that booth for both games, especially with the implications. I think it would be really cool to see Bruce Pearl get it done for the first time. You obviously got two very young coaches in John Shire and Todd Golden.
Hmm.
and then obviously the vet, uh, Kelvin Sampson. I don't. I believe this would be the first championship for all of these coaches, correct?
Yeah, it would be. Obviously, Shire as an assistant coach with Duke and as a player. Actually, I'm not 100% sure on player. Pretty sure he won one as an assistant
He
coach
won
back
one
in.
against Butler in 2010
That's right. Yeah.
as a
Yes.
junior. Yeah,
Uh-huh. But yeah, outside of coaching wise, it would all be the first championship for each of them. And on the commentator, as you said, Tim, yes, it is going to be Ian Eagle, Bill Raftery, and Grant Hill. Well, with Tracy Wolfson doing sideline reporting for the Final Four this year. So that will be the tandem. And I agree. I think they've been the best. It's really fun to listen to their games.
for sure. I think that's all we've got for the Final Four and the Reds. It was nice talking on the Cincy Sports Pod. We'll be with you next time to discuss probably the national championship game and more about the Reds season. See you next time.